I definitely experience music in a sort of multi-dimensional way. Just even when I'm composing, I see music as much as I hear it. There's no rules. It's all conceptual. It's just a matter of just making a selection and trying something. Some of the best ideas are just when people weren't thinking about what they were doing, but they were feeling through what they were doing. Hi, I'm Bella Donna, and you're here at Appalachian Recording in the Appalachian Mountains. And I am a composer and recording artist, as well as a clinician and sound designer. I have been collecting synthesizers and started developing my own electronic music studio in 1987. I definitely started out right off the bat wanting to create and manifest my own sounds. It was so much more for me personally than just recreating sounds that I heard on records. And in the beginning of my journey, I used tape machines exclusively, and using them in correlation with synthesizers, manipulating or even sometimes almost destroying the tape to get a certain thing to happen. With this kind of equipment and this sort of intentional approach with using vintage and modern instruments, I think it's the go where no one's gone and create a timeless music or a timeless personal experience. And in order to do that, you have to have a little bit of both the past as well as have a sort of fearlessness to embrace things that are unknown. If I know that I have this opportunity to communicate with listeners, then my passion is to create a home for them where they forget about what is actually making the music or who is making the music, but it becomes more of an experience that's about themselves, a vehicle for them to get lost and found in their own sort of personal wilderness. The speakers that I use in the studio have to be accurate, and they have to have listenability. They have to have a sort of marriage of both. I spend long days in this studio, so I don't really want to have ear fatigue halfway through it. I like to listen at lower volumes. I like to dial up my mixes at lower volumes. But then when I am performing to tape or to the DAW, I crank it up and I get a feel for what it might be like for a listener that's really in the moment with what I'm going to give them musically. So I want a combination of things that are going to give me an accurate mix, and at the same time I want them to have some vibe. And the focals definitely have that marriage. I have really loved using the focal monitors in my workspace. I use Alpha 80s to dial up my sounds on all these synthesizers and perform on the Alpha 80s to tape. And then when I am mixing down, I have been really enjoying using the Alpha Evos because they're very fast, they're very clean and accurate, except they still have a nice body to them, and the mixes translate fast. I need to be able to have accurate speakers because I have taken years and years of learning my equipment, learning my instruments, learning the range of every single thing in here. Because that's my responsibility as a composer and as a producer. And especially when I'm a hired hand. But on my own albums, I know that I am asking listeners to participate with me in what could be a very long night. So I want to make sure that I have not only musical but sonic command at all times.